Exploring the School Index, Annual Education Report, and Accountability in MiSchoolData. I'm Jennifer Parker, and today my teammates are Dan Way out of Barry and Risa and Dr. Lisa Lockman out of Wexford, Missaukee. And today we are going to do a quick overview of some of the things that have been brought to our attention as a MiSchoolData ISD leadership team. We're going to give you as many updates as we have, and we're going to show you where in the MiSchoolData portal you can find information regarding tonight's topic. Today we will be following along in a slide deck. If you want to join us, it's at tinyurl.com/msd-acct. And just kind of a disclaimer, today's information is up to date as of November 11th, 2020. And we are part of the Train the Trainer network. So feel free to share the information that we share with you. Part of our ISD leadership team represented today, I mentioned that Dan and Lisa are on. We also have Dr. Rhonda Provost, and joining us will be Kathy Miller and Christy Martin. We round out a group that works collectively on professional development across the state. So today is one of our statewide webinars that hopefully you guys are either viewing live or in a recording on our YouTube channel, but thank you for being with us. If you have further questions after today's broadcast, we are part of an ISD leadership team that is split across regions of our state. Feel free to contact your regional lead to find out about more opportunities for professional development or for training. There are lots of PD opportunities that are hyperlinked in the slide deck, including something that comes out monthly from Dr. Provost's office, the Talking Points for School Leaders. There's also the PD toolkit that is part of our ISD leadership team's role and responsibilities, as well as today's webinar. Lots of things are linked in the slide deck. The learning objectives for today's broadcast: this is not going to be an intro to MiSchoolData, and it is not going to be a tour of the redesigned site. Today is going to be specifically about the key features of the accountability aspect that are located in the MiSchoolData portal. We will take a quick little tour at the end of the broadcast, but for the most part, we are going to stick to the features that are related to today's topic. The focus of today's webinar is all about school and district accountability, and we are going to be spotlighting the education focus area, which is out on the dashboard. We're going to be looking at the parent dashboard, the school index, school grades, annual ed report, 31A at risk, and we also are going to dabble a little bit in the subgroup menu, which could inform several of the things that you do within this area. So the first thing you need to know about today's topic is where to find the accountability reports and menus that are in the new MiSchoolData portal. There are two places. You can start in the dashboard and education focus areas and go down to education focus areas to find accountability. Or you could also go to the K-12 menu and click on school accountability, and you'll also be guided to the same spot. So really there are two places you can come, but they bring you to the same private Idaho. When you come into the dashboard and education focus section, make sure you come to the education focus area, and it'll be the first one on your list. If you choose to go in through the K-12 menu, you'll have this list of many report options. Now, I'm going to say that with a disclaimer because depending on the role and permissions that you have as a MiSchoolData user, you may or may not see all of the things that are featured in my login. So some of the accountability downloads, etc., may or may not be available to you depending on your user privileges. So the first spot on our tour is the parent dashboard. Now the parent dashboard looks a lot like it used to. It's actually coming in from the pinhole. There are still 5 features of that parent dashboard. You've got the home, you've got the state overview, you've got find a school, you've got contact us, and you've got dashboard help. So really it's going to be similar to what you had seen in the legacy site, not going to be a big disconnect from what you're used to with the parent dashboard. The dashboard home is still going to use that search feature. You can either search by typing in a keyword search or a school building name, or you could also use the map feature. And remember, those graduation caps are what tell you where the location is of the building that you are looking for in the parent dashboard home. The second menu in the parent dashboard is the state overview. Again, it looks at the 6 E's, the ESSA requirements. You'll notice that this does not say top 10 and 10 anymore. It says Michigan's top 10 strategic plan. Those connections are going to be coming and evolving. When you come to this page right now, it's just a holding space. I want to let you know that that is evolving. The third part of the parent dashboard is find a school. It's a lot like the dashboard home. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to key in the building and you're going to use the map. There is a nice disclaimer here that reminds parents or whoever comes to this area of the portal that you are looking for a school building. The fourth part of the parent dashboard is the contact us. You may or may not need have questions to be answered. This is really targeted primarily to parents who come to the portal and need some information. There is a list of some email contacts and some FAQs. And then lastly, the last part of the dashboard is that dashboard help. Again, FAQs, glossary, there are some how-to videos that are a little bit outdated that are being updated as we speak, but that is the help section. So that's the 5 elements of the parent dashboard. Now, a couple specifics with regard to today's topic. Once you pick a building, you're going to come into the dashboard. It will have a similar look and feel. Again, you have your menu on the left. You've got your demographic information about your district or your building, and you've got these key performance indicators. And there are 8 key performance indicators. They are evolving, they are expanding, but at this point, you will see 8 of these different key performance indicators, which may or may not help you with the reporting that you're digging into. The submenus on the top left-hand side have evolved over the past couple of years. You've got school services and offerings, student data, staff data, and the school index. I know Dan will be talking about the school index here coming up in a minute, but I'll just go quickly through these submenus and what they look like in the dashboard. The first one is the overview, and then you'll go into school services and offerings. Now, this used to be called points of pride. Most of us who have been in education for a hot minute remember the points of pride. It didn't used to show up anywhere, but now it does here on the parent dashboard. Lots of things like support services, language services, AP, academics, CTE, etc. All of the extra things that your district has to offer. This information is pulled directly from the EEM. So if there are inaccuracies in anything that you find here in this section under school services and offerings, contact your central office person who is responsible for inputting into the EEM. The student data submenu of the parent dashboard includes several things that may be of interest to you with regards to behavior, progress, graduation, current college readiness. Staff data has some ratios and years of experience, retention and qualifications. And then lastly, there is this opportunity for you to take within the student data piece or in any of the pieces, there are opportunities for you to do some comparisons in the dashboard. And this is primarily because the parent dashboard was built by parents for parents with parents in mind in collaboration with MDE. And they were interested in comparing buildings, comparing performances, comparing geography, etc. So performance comparisons or any comparison in general are done by looking at the key performance indicator, and you've got 2 buttons down at the bottom. One is student characteristics and the other is distance. If you're looking by student characteristics, there's a couple of different pieces that you can look at, okay? The student demographics are calculated based on number of student enrolled, student teacher ratios, your free and reduced lunch population, and then your per pupil spending. The geography is all about the 30 closest schools, and that is calculated by distance. So with that said, that is the parent dashboard, the quick version of the parent dashboard. If you have any questions about the parent dashboard, go ahead and put those in the chat box. Please note that we do have a full webinar just dedicated to parent dashboard, but in the interest of time, that was the lightning speed round version. Next section is annual ed report. So today is November 11th, 2020. Today is being recorded. We do have some key dates and updates for you with regard to the annual ed report. And so you may want to jot down a few notes. Most of us know that the annual ed report was designed to meet the federal requirements of ESSA. The 2020 AERs are based on the data from the 1920 school year. All local education agencies, or LEAs, are required to post RESAs, ISDs, etc., designed to meet our state requirements. And there are some traditional AER elements. For the most part, you usually are basing your annual ed report on teacher qualifications, student assessment, accountability, the NAEP scores, your school improvement funds, section 1003. And then you usually get some, a memo, you get some letters that you are directed to post. You go into the MiSchoolData system and you look at this combined report to pull down your numbers, and you usually post them. However, because 2020 has been such a interesting year, there are several things that we want to bring to your attention. And this slide is, I am thinking that I am on slide 31 in the slide deck if you plan to come back. But here are a couple things as we know it. The dates for annual ed report, they will be in preview from December 1st to the 15th. The annual ed report will be public on December 16th, and your posting deadline will be February 15th of 2021. Student assessment, because we have been such an interesting year, that there will be no 2019-20 assessment data included in the report. That means no new data will be added to the student assessment tab in the report for annual education report. Your English language learner progress has been waived. However, that's a little bit confusing for folks because that was something that was used for your A to F. And I know Dan will talk a little bit about that with school grades. Civil rights data is being included. It must be reported, but the MDE is waiting for the refresh by the national because there's a 2-year lag. So civil rights data is going to be reported, and they are in hold for that. With regard to accountability, minimal data updates to this page in the annual ed report. There are going to be a couple, for example, the high school graduation rate. That 4-year adjusted cohort rate will be updated. The percentage of English learners making progress in achieving English language proficiency will also be updated. And then the on-track attendance rate. Those that are students not chronically absent, the goal for that will be 92.37% for this version. Teacher quality, all of that will be updated. NAEP, there's no changes. That data will be updated. And then your school improvement funds, it is expected that that data will also be updated. So if you are looking for a quick overview of the annual ed report, I am on slide 31 of the presentation, and this will be helpful for you going forward. A reminder that the timelines for AER, again, preview on the combined reports, December 1st to the 15th. Combined reports are final. They're pushed for public viewing on December 16th, and the posting deadline is February 15th of 2021. The memos are expected coming out from MDE at any time. They are finalizing the information that is in the memo. We did not have those for today's broadcast, but those are expected within a short window of time. If you are interested in looking for the annual ed report and you want to review what you did last year, you are again going to access this in the school accountability. You can get there in the K-12 menu or through the dashboard education focus area. You'll click on annual ed report and it will pop up the different sections of AER and allow you to generate a report and take a preview. Just a reminder, when you do go into annual ed report, the changes that I mentioned on the summary page are going to occur in the first 2 tabs. So the student assessment and accountability piece will be where you will be noticing some changes, because right now this has got the previous year's data. Once the information goes live in December, you'll have the updates. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Dan, and I will keep driving the car. Dan, go ahead.
Thanks, Jen. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to talk about school index and school grades accountability report. Um, Next slide, please. So because of the suspension of state assessment in the spring of 2020, the school index reports will not be updated this year for the school year of 2019 to 20. So the following slides will be based on the previous year's data. Right now, the 3 years data reports available for school index, which is 16 to 17, 17 to 18, and 18 to 19. The Michigan School Index system shows federal required under the ESSA of 2015. The index system allows users to analyze schools' strengths and weakness in different areas. And this index system also identifies the lowest performing schools according to the federal requirements. So to access the school index reports, at the landing page, you can just type in the school name or find by map, then click the school name to view the school index report. And I believe Dr. Parker has showed you how to access the school accountability reports from the two main places. One is under the education dashboards and focus area. Another is from the main menu of K to 12. So the school index components are the 6 major components. They are student growth, student proficiency on state assessments, graduation rate for high school, English learner progress, school quality and student success, and assessment participation. The participation includes both general assessment and the English learner assessment, which is with the access. And the 6 components has different weights. The weight will be redistributed if the school have some components missing. The index system calculates a value from 0 to 100 for the overall school index and the 6 different components. Next, please. This is a spotlight of school index on the growth index. The overall index 71.53 for this school, for example, is the average of the combined all subjects growth percent target met for all the student groups with at least 30 students for each group. The subgroup for the bottom 30% is only used for reporting, not calculated in the index value. And the groups with fewer than 30 students will only be on display, not calculated in the value. And the subgroups with less than 10 the data will be suppressed. Next, please. Next will be school grades. Although the school index report is not updated for the school year 2019 to 20, school grades reports is still updated. It's the state required school accountability measures. The school receives up to 5 letter grades, A to F, and 3 ranking labels on the various performance components. But the school will not receive an overall letter grade or ranking label. They will receive a letter grade or ranking label for the available components. And recently, the preview for the 2019 to 20 school grades report released. This is how to access the school grades report. From the landing page, you can just use the edit button to click or choose the school of your interest, or you can just type in the school name beside the magnifying glass symbol. Then the school name will appear. Select the school, you will be taken to the school grades report. So this year, due to the COVID-19, only 3 components will have data, which is graduation for high school, EL progress, and attendance. This is a spotlight of school grades on the English learner progress. For example, this school received a letter grade C with the EL progress rate of 25%. So the schools with at least 60% or higher progress rates will receive an A. So this category is listed here. The EL progress includes the students with English proficient or the student not currently proficient but showing adequate progress. And the formula for the EL progress rate is the number of phase students for academic year students meeting the EL progress divided by all the EL students enrolled with valid WIDA growth scores. And accountability download is not available this year because the data is tied with the score index report, which is not updated this year. To view the English learner progress data, you can go to the OEAA's Q site to access the individual student level data. In summary, the school grades reports provide an overview of how your schools is performing. You can also compare your school with the other peer schools in Michigan. I think that I'm turning over to Dr. Lockman.
Yes, thank you for joining us, everyone. We're going to talk a little bit about 31A. So 31A is your at-risk students, and on how you find that information from the main screen is clicking on that K-12 button, and then you go on the landing page, the school accountability and at-risk. So there is your 31A students. In MiSchoolData, you'll be able to view your 3rd, 8th, and 11th grade at-risk students. These will be a similar population to your Title I students, a little bit different in the calculation, and we'll talk about that on the next slide. So 31A funds are allocated to LEAs. They're based on the regular school attendance, reading proficiency, math proficiency, and college readiness. You're looking at your free and reduced lunch count. So some schools use that direct cert and other schools use the eligibility forms for students. Students are identified on 10 criteria, and that will be on the next slide. So you have 3 reporting periods to identify those students, and you're looking at students that have multiple risk factors in these 10 areas: economically disadvantaged, English learner, chronically absent, victim of child abuse or neglect, the teenage parents, family history of school failure or incarceration, if a student didn't complete with their cohort for graduation, they did not have proficiency on any of the state assessment areas, or are at risk of not meeting your core academic curriculum. When you run the at-risk report, you'll see kind of that middle, that's your scoring for your students that qualify in the 31A category and are identified through your reporting. And so you're looking at that middle category of charts that shows your percentage of students that are eligible for 31A and what their proficiency is. While we're talking about 31A, we wanted to talk a little bit about subgroups. When you go to the main page for subgroups, we're really excited that there's a button that takes you straight to the subgroup reporting. 31A isn't on the subgroup reporting, but the subgroup reporting would include other subgroups such as English language learners, economically disadvantaged, foster students, early middle college. So there's all the subgroups that you can find. And so you can go directly to these categories and pull up reports for these groups of students. So much easier than it was kind of buried in the other site. This is our spotlight on economically disadvantaged. So when you go into the economically disadvantaged, you can do some of the selection buttons to select what group of students you want, and then run your report in the reporting category for setting it to economically disadvantaged. And remember, I think Dr. Parker talked about, but there's no more yellow button. We're clicking on the blue button to get to all our reporting now. So you look at that, click that blue button to run your report. New color scheme we were talking about.
You know it. We love it. We love
Looking
it.
good.
So in closing for today's broadcast, we just wanted to remind you that the accountability reports and today's topic was all about a quick overview of some of the resources in the MiSchoolData site that would support you in your local efforts, including the parent dashboard, 31A, the school index, school grades, and annual ed report. We also provided you with what the most up-to-date information we have as of today's broadcast with regard to what is and is not going to be required for state reporting. If you have any further questions regarding today's broadcast or any other professional development needs, please reach out to your regional advisory member. There are additional webinar sessions coming through January 2021 that we would welcome your participation in, speaking to a variety of audiences. And a reminder, if you are interested in sketches for today's broadcast, there is a unique session attendance link at the bottom of this slide, which is slide 61 in today's broadcast, in today's tiny URL, which was MSD-ACCT. And lastly, for more information, feel free to reach back to any of us. I'm Jennifer Parker on behalf of myself, Dan Way, and Dr. Lisa Lockman, as well as Dr. Provost. We want to say thanks for joining us. Have a great day and stay safe.
I do not see any questions in the chat, and I posted the Sketchies application and also referenced that it was slide 31.